I totally get that.
Brother Jerry, I want to get your comments and just your thoughts on this quote of Adolf Harnack, which you're, of course, Brother Jerry, you're well familiar with. Adolf Harnack states, and I'm just going to read this, get the quote, the exact quote, so just bear with me, Brother Jerry. So we have here, Adolf Harnack says, in the support of the identity of the manifested and the invisible, these monarchians, so modalistic monarchians, referred to the Old Testament theophanies with as good a right as, nay, with a better than, the defenders of the Logos Christology. So what essentially Adolf Harnack is saying in this quote is saying that the modalists had a better right to appeal to the Old Testament prophecies pertaining to Jesus's deity more than the latecomers from the Logos Christology camp. What can you add to this quote from Adolf Harnack? Do you agree with this?
Well, that's a powerful statement, isn't it?
Yes.
That's very powerful, and comes from no more. I mean, you can't get any more respectable than Adolf Harnack when it comes to his scholarship in church history. Mm-hmm. Now, the pluralists will attack Harnack because he was a liberal theologian, but that's no matter. That's no matter. What is important is his discipline was that of a historian. So his
unbiased. He was unbiased. Sorry, he was unbiased. He had no dog in the fight. So
he wasn't flying anybody's flag. He was just being honest. Mm. Now, I appreciate that, and many other men besides him have added their voice to this same course, and they're saying the same thing.
Tangent there, but I actually see this as very important, because my next question would be, how, brother, do you see people that have a doctrine where God is three persons, and somehow we're talking about all of these subjects of humility, holiness, to sanctify oneself, avoiding sin. How can a worshiper, how can someone that considers God three persons can truly please that definition of God? How is that even possible to follow Deuteronomy 6:4?
Sure, absolutely. I think if you know, I'd like to start this, answer this by starting out with my with the testimony of how I went from being, I guess, what you would call by title a Trinitarian, and how I began to see that I didn't really fit into that category. And this will make a really good point, because that's all I had ever heard. It's all I was ever taught, was that there was one God in three persons. The interesting thing about that is, we're told that it's a great mystery that you can't possibly understand, but if you don't believe it, you're going to hell. And I just find that pretty crazy that you just told me that you couldn't possibly comprehend it with my human mind, and yet I have to believe it every year. So when we started talking about the Godhead, I only knew the Trinitarian position, but as we talked, he says, so do you believe in three gods? I'm like, well, no, I know what the Bible says. There's only one God. And he says, but you believe that there's three persons? And I said, well, three persons. He says, well, how do you define person? Isn't a person a being? And I said, yeah, a person. Yeah, that would be a separate being. And as he took me through this, I said, but I don't believe that. He said, do you believe they're three separate beings? No, I don't believe they're three separate beings, because I knew, Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, our God, is one Yahweh. And that, Isaiah 44:6, is there another God besides me? I know not one. There is only one God. And so somehow there's this whole thing in the Trinitarian thing. I think most people who say they believe in the Trinity, a lot of them actually have a oneness belief.